middle just kind of beat the barrel of the bat.
On a 1-1 from Togo, Turner chops it foul, and it's 1-2. Couple of walks setting the table for Team USA here. Down 2-1. The hottest player and the best hitter in the lineup in this tournament. Lineup full of superstars. None has been better than Trey Turner with his 5 home runs. On a 1-2 from Shohei Togo. Turner swings and misses, and Togo finds it to get out of the jam. To the bottom of the third, manager Mark DeRosa joins us. And Mark, I know Merrill Kelly out of the game much faster than you would have hoped, but given the way things went on Sunday night, you guys are still lined up okay.
Yeah, I was saying, I know he's chapped. He wanted to stay out there, but with just too many weapons out there, like I said, Loopy's an old teammate. I knew he could come into that situation and be fine, and he got us out of it. So hopefully get Kyle Freeland going, steal a couple innings with him.
Shohei Otani at the plate leading things off for Japan. So you guys had your first meeting 2 weeks ago today, first get together as a team. Has it been a fast 2 weeks, or does it seem like a long 2 weeks?
No, I feel like we've been together for 6 months. The most unbelievable experience of my baseball career, to be honest with you, and the most stressful.
Well, it's been a blast for all of us to watch. I know this is not this right here is not free of stress, a Shohei Otani bet. So we're going to let you go do your job. You've represented your team and your country beautifully, Mark.
No, I appreciate it, guys. This has been amazing.
All right, so Mark DeRosa, manager of Team USA, his first managing job. And he watches Kyle Freeland face Otani, Yoshida, and Murakami. Now goes full on Otani. Walked his first time up. Really didn't see anything good to hit against Kelly. On a 3-2. He takes strike 3, and good start for Kyle Freeland.
It was a good start. You're facing one of the game's best, and he freezes them with a 3-2 cutter on the outside part of the plate. You see that cutting action, and it just holds on the outside part of the plate and just freezes Otani. And Freeland has a unique release point. It's not over the top, it's not low 3/4, somewhere in between, and the ball has good movement when he's on plane, pitching off the third base side of the rubber, so he wants that ball to move primarily away from the right-handed hitters.
29 years old, out of Denver, Colorado, pitching for his hometown team. Entering his 7th year with the Colorado Rockies. Facing Masataka Yoshida in a 2-1 game in the third. Yoshida takes the ball, and it's 2-0. Or 3-0, beg your pardon. Freeland broke into the majors in 2017, got off to a great start. 4-pitch walk here. He had Rookie of the Year votes in 17. 2018, he was top 5 in Cy Young voting, even though he was pitching half his games at Coors Field. He had a sub-3 ERA. That's a Colorado record. It's been up and down the last few years, though. He's dealt with some injuries. He did sign a long extension. And even with the up and down nature of his career, John, not many guys can sustain a career at Coors Field the way that he has.
I agree. His carryover effect, the more you pitch there and then trying to go on the road, it definitely has and takes its toll on pitching. You got to be clean with your mechanics. You got to trust that you're not going to pitch too many shutouts, and you just got to deal with the atmosphere and the environments. It's not easy for a visiting player. I guess you can get used to it as a home pitcher.
Murakami chops one to second. Anderson feeds Turner on to first. There's 2. Kyle Freeland in the blink of an eye. Sellouts for all 3 games. The semis and in the championship. Bottom part of the order for Shohei Togo to face off with. JT Realmuto singled his first time to lead it off. And the Phillies catcher swings and misses at a high fastball.
Well, the challenge for the USA team is going to be trying to get his fastball, because the changeup or splitter has been really the go-to pitch for him, striking out most of his hitters on it. And if they can stay off of that pitch and confine him to fastballs, then this offense reflects its muscles. But if they got him swinging at it, it's going to be tough go for even a great offense like Team USA.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. 23 runs the last 2 games for Team USA. They needed every bit of it in the quarterfinal. It was a rout in the semifinal against Cuba. Okamoto somehow gets his bat on that, stays alive.
And the reason that pitch is so good, his arm action is so consistent with the fastball that there's, again, no difference between the two. And because he comes out at low 3/4 with that pitch comes to the hitter and then just falls.
Another 1-2. Okamoto to short and caught by Genda. One away in the 4th inning. Here's Cedric Mullins, who took strike 3 called his first time. 28 years old out of Snellville, Georgia. Now the Baltimore Orioles. Swings and misses. He used to be a switch hitter, Cedric did. And he was back and forth between the majors and the minors when he was doing that, really for 3 years. And then he said, you know what, I'm going to ditch it. I'm just hitting left-handed. And when he did that, that's when he broke out. That is just out of play. Ditched it going into 2021 and had a 30 home run season at 291. Was an all-star for the first time. Won a Silver Slugger. There's always that speed component. He stole 30 bases as well. But the last 2 years, he's stolen more bases than anybody in the American League. How many is he going to get with the new rules?
It's going to go up.
64 the last 2 seasons. 0-2 pitch. Taken for a ball.
I think he's got a chance to get that this year. I'm telling you, if you can steal bases, whatever you've stolen in the past, double it.
Wow.
In my opinion, because of the new rules.
I mean, you probably think of it from a pitcher's perspective, what that's going to be like trying to control the running game.
No doubt. Well, first of all, if you've been pitching in an era where you don't have to hold runners on, you're not working at it. And a lot of slow deliveries to the plate, not to mention the pitch clock and the amount of times you can throw over to first. So throw those all into a bucket. You better get right in spring training with your delivery to home. And there's going to be some relievers that managers are going to fret bringing in the game if they get a runner on, because they're going to walk to second because they just don't have, they're slow. And they might be nasty, but they're going to be pitching with pressure because there'll be a man on second.
Mullins slaps it to left center field. Yoshida will cut it off. 2 out. And when you say slow, it's slow to the plate and slow pitching.
Yes.
And you get the pitch clock to deal with as well.
Yeah.
A lot of things working against those guys.
And there's that split change again, and he's able to get enough of the barrel of the bat. You can see he's out front on that pitch, but slicing back towards the left fielder.
Well, Team USA had those 3 hits in the second inning, looking for their first one since. Togo has walked a couple, but no hits against him. Tim Anderson swings and misses. Anderson had one of the hits in the second. #1 average in the majors the last 4 years since he really settled in for the White Sox. Lofts a fly ball to right. Kondo retreats. Plenty of room. And a 1-2-3 4th inning for Togo. The main event of this most captivating World Baseball Classic. And a dream matchup for the championship. United States and Japan. 2-1. Japan in front. All the runs in this game coming in the second inning. Kyle Freeland, third pitcher for Team USA, faces Kazuma Okamoto to open the 4th. And he's in there with a strike. Freeland pitched a few innings in the group stage, and he said he was so wired from pitching in a playoff environment that he didn't fall asleep until like 2 or 3 a.m. High drive left center field. Mullins on his horse to the track, at the wall. It's gone. Okamoto goes deep, and Japan grows its lead. Second leadoff home run for Japan over the last 3 innings, and it's 3-1.
Well, that was flat, and the pitcher knows it when he releases it, and the hitter knows it when he hits it. So bad combination all the way around.
Routine in right center, Betts or Trout. It's Mookie Betts, one away.
This is a team that has more power than you would think. And this is a team that doesn't swing and miss a lot. So the combination of those two things is going to make it difficult for a staff that really doesn't have starting velocity power. It relies more on moving the ball in and out and relying on your defense. And Merrill Kelly would like to have had that inning over. And Kyle Freeland's kind of the same way. Funky in his own way, but not going to typically have 12 strikeout games or 9 or 10 strikeout games. He's going to rely on making pitches.
And there was strike one to Sosuke Genda. Singled his first time. 4 Japan hits. On an 0-1. Genda grounds it foul. Now Genda, if you happen to just be watching Team Japan for the first time, he broke his pinky during the group stage, and they thought that he was done. But he comes back in the quarterfinal with his finger wrapped up, this big old club basically, and gets an RBI hit. Played again in the semifinal last night. Had a sacrifice bunt reaching out there with that broken finger. And we mentioned this last night, but to the guys on Team Japan and those that are familiar with Genda, they're like, oh yeah, this is him. This is the guy who in high school had 2 teeth broken during batting practice. And not only did he not miss the game, he didn't even miss the rest of BP. He just reached down, grabbed the pieces of teeth, put them in his pocket, got back in, and kept on swinging.
It's amazing. I mean, that's his throwing hand. And if you don't think your pinky does something when you throw, he had to get used to a lot. His manager called pretty strong praise, called him the best defensive shortstop ever.
Yep.
Ever. And that's a long time.
Yeah, forever, ever? 30 years old. He's been playing in the big leagues in Japan for 6 years and actually undrafted out of high school, so he had to go into Japan's equivalent of indie ball to get his shot. Another 2-2. Taken outside, and he's worked the count full. Proved that he was worthy. In the industrial leagues, as they're called. Finally got drafted. 6 years since he's been drafted. An all-star 4 times, even though he's not much of a hitter. Overwhelmingly good as a fielder. Swings and misses here. Freeland's got a strikeout for out number 2. One Japan. 2 gone in the 4th inning, and the 9-hitter Nakamura to the plate. Of Kyle Freeland, that short night-inducing performance in the group stage. It was his first time in a postseason environment since the 2018 wild card game. When he was in his 2nd year in the majors, he went to Wrigley Field and fired 7 shutout innings for the Rockies. He's the kind of guy that's thrived in big moments before. Arenado, 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th for Japan. Team USA's run came in the 2nd inning and a Trey Turner home run. The championship game moves along to the 5th. Hiroto Takahashi, his 3rd appearance at the WBC, just 20 years old, the youngest player on the Samurai Japan roster.
Pretty amazing. Different pitcher, but the same style. He's going to use that split to get a lot of his strikeouts, and almost a 30%, 29% strikeout rate. So Team USA is going to have to find a way to either maximize some fastballs in the zone or stay off of that splitter, because that is the formula for Team Japan against this lineup.
Top of the order for the United States. Betts is 0 for 2 today. Big old bouncer won't be an easy play. From third, Murakami throws low in time. Dug out by Okamoto. Hit the home run in the bottom of the fourth. And a heck of a pick right there. They're going to challenge it. And Mark DeRosa and Team USA has been almost perfect on challenges so far. And they're going to stay that way, Johnny.
I think so. It's got to be in the webbing. And you see the ball coming in the frame, and they are going to get an overturned safe call, and that could provide a big inning for Team USA. You only get one challenge, and if you're successful, you retain it.
Well, the video man for Team USA is Kevin Roach, who's the video guy for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And big league teams have these pretty detailed systems for how their process works as you go through a 162-game season. These guys had never worked together before. And Mark DeRosa has raved about how good Kevin Roach has been, how quick he's been making decisions to challenge, a lot of times without a great look. It looks like he's made the right call again. Here's the confirmation. Kevin Roach, one of the unsung heroes for Team USA. And the leadoff man is on here in the fifth.
And that's big. Team USA has got to get this part of the lineup going right now and get some runs on the board and create some pressure.
Boy, you're right. I mean, fifth inning, but it does feel like they needed a little bit of a jolt. They get it with an infield hit and an overturned call. And it brings Mike Trout to the plate representing the tying run. First pitch. A little high. Trout, by the way, has already committed to play in the 2026 WBC. An MVP at first, an MVP in the box. A 1-0 pitch. Ball 2 just barely misses.
We've seen Trout and Mookie Betts, as you see this fastball just off the inside part of the plate. We've seen him take advantage of that mini shift. I don't think that's the case here at 2-0. Mike Trout's going to be looking to drive a ball here with 2 out, with 2-0 count.
They're going to tie the game, perhaps tie the championship. Big rip and a miss, and it's 2-1 as the bottom falls out of that splitter.
That's a fantastic pitch. It's just you're sitting at home and you're wondering what this thing does. It starts out at the height of the fastball, and then just the spin and the rotation just drops.
We've long wondered what Mike Trout would look like in a big game with everything on the line. Getting it here. That's a good lead. 2-1. Fouled off, and it's 2-2. Man, oh man, 97 jumps out of his hand, and you've got that splitter to contend with.
Well, and that's the key, because once you've seen off speed, then you've got to get geared up for that fastball, and it makes it appear a lot firmer than the miles per hour. And so here's the scenario with 2 strikes that I've seen both Trout and Betts, if they need to, with 2 strikes, they've been going the other way, which means they're staying longer and staying on the ball and not trying to just pull it.
Here comes a 2-2, and Trout got out of the way of that. Not quite sure how. 3-2. Whew. Jumping rope. Mikey Trout, Millville, New Jersey. One of the best ever. the payoff. Do it again. Fourth generation baseball player in the Trout family. His great grandpa is such a good hitter that they called him Bat. His nickname was Bat Trout. Grandpa was one of his best high school players in his area. Mike learned the game from his dad, Jeff, who was a star player at the University of Delaware and played in the minors with the Twins. He's a 300 hitter, but he retired, some injuries, and got married and had kids on the way. That's Mike Trout on the way. Another 3-2 coming to him. And he's down swinging. Hiroto Takahashi strikes out Mike Trout.
Comes out of your hand, disappears. Huh? 20 years old?
Yeah. He's one of those guys that we've seen throughout this tournament start to jump onto big league radars. If he wasn't already. Here's Goldschmidt. There's ball one.
But again, just the discipline of how these guys pitch. And Otani, of course, can do it both and do it all. But the way they get down the hill and they don't really fall off their mechanics. They finish so good and in such a good position after they release the ball.
Seems like, John, they all have great balance through.
No, that's the key. They stand over the rubber. I mean, I know you're used to a lot of pitchers having the double leg kick, kind of just pause over the rubber. So they're building their mechanics from the ground up, which you should. And they're building it, obviously, without being bulk or max effort. They're being able to throw the ball freely and get velocity, but then that movement of the split finger, all because their hand is in the right spot at the right time when the foot lands.
1-1 from Takahashi. 1-2.
And every hitter will tell you, you know, there used to be a thing when you'd play catch with a guy and you went to go catch the ball and the ball beats you to the glove. That's late life. That's how you describe it. And then you see guys throw the ball really hard, but you catch it. And even though they're throwing it hard, you can see it. It doesn't get to your glove. It doesn't pop your pocket. And that's the feeling of a hitter when he thinks he's on the fastball and he's just missing it because that backspin, that spin is actually eluding or giving the illusion that it's faster.
Here's a 1-2, and that's in the dirt. Good stop by Nakamura. And so that becomes room for error for Takahashi. You saw the pitch before was down the middle, but Goldschmidt late and fouled it off.
Right, and everything about this pitch, if he threw a high fastball above the mask of the catcher and then threw a pitch that Mike Trout swung and missed at, he wouldn't swing at that. But because he's throwing his fastball in the same area that he's releasing his split finger, that is what makes it so difficult to stay off him. So if you're sitting at home, you're going, how does a guy swing at a pitch that far in the dirt? Well, because it's coming out of his hand in that tunnel and that height the same as the fastball previously.
2-2 on Paul Goldschmidt. That's off first. Here it comes. He strikes him out. The fastball that time holds its plane and is in there at the knees.
Outstanding pitching and outstanding the fingers behind the ball, and that ball is by Paul Goldschmidt and just stays in that lower quadrant.
So when it's used down there to the hitter's eyes, it's going to be low.
Right.
And then it's perfect at the knees. So after the leadoff hit, he gets Trout and Goldschmidt both on strikes. And here's Arenado with two away. Grounded out his first time, walked in the third. Team USA essentially tonight, it looks like facing a bullpen game from Japan. And you may get some length from Yu Darvish. We'll see if he comes in at some point. But different look after different look. Even though similar, different and difficult.
and impressive. I mean, just every guy we've seen throw impressive for Team Japan.
Arenado on 1-0, takes outside. There's ball 2. Schwarber waits on deck. For Japan, the top ERA in this tournament, 2.33 coming in. Only 7 walks in 6 games.
I wouldn't be surprised if he throws a 2-0 split right here.
Arenado into left field. He got a splitter and put it for a base hit. First hit out of the infield for Team USA since the 2nd inning. And the tying run's aboard.
Well, the only one he made a mistake, and that one just floated in the zone, and you see him keep his head down, barrel to the ball, and a solid base hit. And again, Team Japan has kept the rallies from Team USA with 2 outs, and that's a lot less stress than if it's first and second, nobody out, and you're pitching out of jam. So they've done a nice job creating the minimal stress you can create with runners on first and second and sluggers at the plate.
It is Kyle Schwarber, the National League home run champion. He's hit so many big home runs throughout his big league career, throughout his baseball life. Back to the Cape Cod League when he homered twice in the championship game. 2 on, 2 out. He represents the go-ahead run in the WBC championship. And he takes ball 1. 29 years old, an all-star last year for the 2nd straight year. All-star in Washington and was traded to Boston, then signed the contract in Philadelphia. And we'll be on Otani watch as this game goes on. Does he make any moves towards the bullpen? The 1-0 to Schwarber. Inside ball 2.
Pitch of the night for Team Japan so far. 2-0 count to a slugger. First and second. And you got Turner on deck, so got to make a pitch here if you're Japan.
And it's 3-0. Part of the lineup with 3 straight Phillies, looking to make some noise in the top of the 5th. That's his second. Arenado the tying run at first. Schwarber will have the green light if he wants it. Takes it, flies it to center, but missed it. Lars Nootbaar settles underneath and ends the inning. And USA strands 2 in the top of the 5th. There is the answer. One of the big questions in this game, when will we see Yu Darvish? He heads down to the bullpen to begin his preparations coming to this championship game. He is no stranger to WBC championship games. He closed out their last title, 2009. Kyle Freeland's back in there in a 3-1 game in the 5th, in the top of the order for Japan with Lars Nootbaar. Freeland, the 3rd pitcher for Team USA. And like we've talked about, John, the hope was to get it into the 6th inning using basically 2 pitchers, and they had to use Loop, but the 4 guys that gave them the confidence that if they got it to the 6th they'd be okay, they've not.
Hacerse viral llama la atención, pero las ventas requieren estrategia. Con esta herramienta puedes aumentar tus probabilidades de convertir atención en ingresos. Sé que sueñas con irte a dormir y que tus posts sigan trabajando por ti, que los comentarios se respondan automáticamente y tu audiencia se sienta escuchada 24/7, sin estrés y sin los DMs a reventar cuando te despiertes. Eso es justo lo que ManyChat puede hacer por ti. Esta semana he enviado más de 3,000 mensajes como estos, y no soy solo yo, sino muchísimos creadores de contenido más que, como nosotros, solo pueden responder únicamente durante ciertas horas al día. Si creas contenido o vendes cursos, productos digitales, con ManyChat nada de ventas perdidas por no poder responder a tiempo, solo más tiempo para hacer lo que verdaderamente te gusta. Prueba ManyChat hoy y haz crecer tu negocio.
Can get his at bat out of the way, then he could go warm up potentially, being that the bullpen is down in left field.
Also going to depend on what part of the inning he gets that at bat. If he comes up and makes the third out, then it becomes an impossible time for him to come in.
Correct. A lot of trickiness there, but the way these tournaments have been going and the blessings of great games, who knows? We may get that scenario play out.
2 balls, no strikes on Kensuke Kondo with Otani on deck. It goes to 3-0.
I just felt the way that the Team USA roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win. Now, they did win a close game against Colombia 3-2. They knew their scenarios on what it was going to take to move here. But against the Team Japan, I felt like Japan's ability to win a 3-1, 4-2 game was a little bit better than USA's team.
That is a walk for Kondo in front of Otani. We go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, guys, Shohei Otani almost never takes batting practice outdoors during the regular season, preferring to focus on his mechanics in the batting cage rather than hitting home runs. Well, the last 2 days have been different. We talked about his monster BP yesterday, and he told reporters after the game, "I knew Team Mexico was watching, so I wanted to send a little message. If you leave a ball out there, that's what's going to happen." And today, he was at it again. Balls into the second and third deck and right and center field, areas that are out of reach for most other Major League hitters. Nolan Arenado looked up and said, "The guy's hitting the scoreboard in batting practice is unbelievable."
Well, Lars Nootbaar, Kenny, talks about his first day with Team Japan and his first day meeting Shohei Otani. And he said he watches Shohei throw in a bullpen touching 100. And then Shohei goes and takes batting practice, and he hits a 118-mile-per-hour home run. And then for good measure, he finishes his day in the weight room squatting 500 pounds. He does things that you're just not supposed to be able to do.
No, but he was sending a message in BP, because if I was watching, knowing I had to potentially pitch against him, I would have stopped watching.
Yeah.
Seriously. It doesn't do you any good.
And you could close your eyes and not know that it was him from watching and still know just by the sound of the bat and the sound of the reactions of the crowd on every swing, an ooh and an ah. And at the end of every round, a standing ovation from the early arriving crowd. Sending a message to the other team and putting on a show for all the people that came to watch it. 5 years into his Major League career, and I think all of us are still as wide-eyed about Shohei Otani as ever. Still making us wonder what in the world he might do next. On a 2-1 pitch from Kyle Freeland. He pulls one off the hand. Sanderson behind the bag has it. Feeds Goldschmidt for out number 2. Into scoring position goes Kondo. And up comes Yoshida.
That's going to be a base hit next year. I mean this year with the new rules. And Otani his average should go up, because they played him in a shift all the time, and a ball hit over 100 miles an hour now, it's going to be hard to defend that. I'd be shocked if the overall averages don't go up this year in baseball. It was reaching what, a 30-year low. Major League Baseball should benefit from that.
Two gone, bottom of the 5th. And Yoshida. Masataka Yoshida, the game-tying home run in the 7th inning last night. 474 in this tournament. Just 5'8", 175. The way the ball jumps off his bat, you'd never know it. 2-0. He was a .327 hitter in Japan, and more than 20 home runs a year, and he had more walks than strikeouts. Mentioned that he's been called the Japanese Juan Soto. Boston scouts looked at him and saw Kyle Schwarber's ability to hit home runs and get on base. Now a 2-0 pitch from Freeland. He takes a strike, and it's 2-1. Fought off foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Or how long it'll take him to get used to that wall at Fenway, and to play pepper off of it would be beneficial for left-handed hitters. The pull side, obviously, at Fenway, much deeper.
Yeah. That's where long fly balls go to die. That makes his all-fields approach that much more important. Waits on this 2-2 pitch. Puts it in play, but right back to Kyle Freeland. And that'll do it for Team Japan in the 5th. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, guys, fans might be wondering why now with Otani, but John, I want to hear your thoughts on this. To me, you got to take the shot now when his position in the batting order has already just expired. You can warm him up, get him in, and then get him back to the offensive part of the game. Later in the game, that opportunity might not be available.
Yeah, it's a good point, Kenny, and it's a tricky one. You know, the one thing you can do is he can get loose and throw. And then if the situation presents itself, if they want to wait longer, it's not as traumatic to get ready, you know. So there's a bunch of ways they can do it. And that's what makes their manager so unique, because he doesn't convey a lot of the strategies.
It's a fly ball off the end of the bat to Trey Turner to left for the first out of the inning for Ee.Uu.
Well, either way, they choose to run pitchers out there. They have had the USA team kind of off balance, and that has been the strategy. I guarantee you in their meetings is how to attack this lineup, and they're attacking this lineup the exact same way with different pitchers.
Darvish went down there first. He's just chilling as Ito handles this inning. Hideki Kuriyama, we talked about him a little bit last night, but consider the Joe Madden of Japanese baseball, that he's very forward-thinking. Realmuto takes a strike. He was the guy that talked Shohei Otani into staying in Japan with the idea of being a two-way player as opposed to going right to the majors out of high school. He's also one of the first guys, or the first guy, to employ shifts, to use an opener. Very open-minded. The 1 to Realmuto. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. And Kuriyama, before he was a baseball manager, he did play professionally in Japan, but he was also a teacher, and for a long time he was a journalist, so he was covering baseball as a writer, and has made more than 100 trips to the United States as about what it might be like. He's doing tonight. He said it's not about me, it's about these guys on the field, but he did let on that, yeah, this is pretty darn special for him too. Ito to Realmuto with a 1-2 pitch. That's ball 2. Japan and the U.S. have been linked through baseball for 150 years. There was actually an American professor who was visiting Japan that brought the game to Japan in the first place. He taught his students how to play the game in the 1870s. Ota begins to warm. Baseball really caught on in the 1890s when the two countries were linked again, because a group of players in Japan beat a group of American players that happened to be visiting. And then in 1934, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and a whole tour of Major League stars went to Japan, and the excitement that came from that led to the start of Japan's first pro league 2 years after that. Another 2-2 pitch. Pulled sharply to third. Murakami's got it. 2 out. Hideki Kuriyama talking about his own story and thinking of the long history between the two countries. He said Japan has always strived to be like the U.S. when it comes to baseball. They've always strived for that level. And so you can understand how tonight's game elevated in importance. It's not just a championship game, but it's against the country that's been the standard for theirs when it comes to this sport.
Absolutely, and just the amount of respect that they have, but they go about it in such a unique way. You admire the style and the dedication to just the fundamentals, the oneness. You know, we mentioned yesterday they all wear the same suit, same tie, same shirt. And they're trying to do something that there'll be 3-time winner if they can beat the U.S. here tonight.
No other country's even won it twice. 1-1 to Cedric Mullins, misses ball 2. Team USA looking at a really tough half here. Japan can get through this 6th inning with Ito. You figure it's probably going to be just some combination of Yu Darvish and Shohei Otani to the finish line in Japan's perfect scenario. Ito's 2-1 is fouled back, and it's 2-2. Half-hearted caught and a miss, and a 1-2-3-6 for Ito. The U.S. scored first in the top of the second on a Trey Turner home run, but 2 in the bottom of the second and 1 in the fourth for Japan, and a 3-1 lead for Samurai Japan as Jason Adam comes into the game. And now, John, you get into the part of the bullpen that Mark DeRosa feels really good about.
Yeah, he feels good about it, but he was probably feeling better if it was 3-1 USA, so he's got to keep it real close and hope that his offense can erupt against a really good pitching staff so far and a game plan that Team Japan has executed.
Jason Adam of the Tampa Bay Rays in there with a strike on Murakami, who homered to tie this game in the first pitch of the second after he ended last night's game with a winning double. Back-to-back MVPs for him. Just turned 23 years of age. Last year won the Triple Crown and set a record for a Japanese-born player with 56 home runs. The number 55 that he wears, that was worn by Hideki Matsui, and both guys wear it in honor of the great Sadaharu Oh. Oh hit 55 home runs in 1964. That was the record until last year when Murakami hit 56. And there is Yu Darvish getting loose alongside Ota. Shohei conserving his energy. 2-1. 2-2.
Well, Adam and his slider is a key pitch for him. They only hit 096 against it in 2022, so that's 5th best when it comes to sliders and the inability to put it in play or for average. So that's his money pitch.
Adam comes home and Murakami's down swinging. 1 gone in the 6th. Coming into the semifinals yesterday, Hideki Kuriyama said that the guy that he's most excited for the world to see that nobody really knows about yet is Kazuma Okamoto. And had a hit yesterday. He's got 2 hits today, including a home run. 26 years old in his 8th year as a pro player. One of the most well-rounded players in Japan. It's not just the offense, because he's got plenty of that. 30 homers 5 years in a row. But he's won back-to-back Golden Gloves as well. And an 0-1 from Adam. He tries to lay off and does.
Unique pitching styles and unique hitting styles. A lot of them have that bat out over the plate, and then that timing mechanism that they bring the bat back right when the pitch is getting ready to get delivered. And a style of hitting that creates some power and contact. Not a lot of swing and miss. There's the barrel there, and now he starts moving it back.
Why don't you see that really at all here?
Well, here has been a little different philosophy. You've got high velocity, big time velocity, more on average than you do over in Japan. But it's just been, it just is what we've gotten used to seeing over in Japan. And the hitting coaches and the style over here create different angles and are looking to do different things with the bat.
Back-to-back Ks for Jason Adam. There is that slider. Now it's time for Road 2, sponsored by Genesis. Team Japan beat Mexico in the memorable semifinal last night. Scored 6 runs over the last 3 innings in that game. 3 in the 7th to tie it, and then Mexico retook the lead right back. They got 1 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th, just like that. And they have not lost in this tournament. Trying to join the Dominican Republic 2013 is the only teams to go through unbeaten. Here's Yamada, who takes the ball.
A lot of leg kicks for Team Japan. There's some leg kicks in the American MLB, but you know, mechanically you want to get to the same spot no matter where you start your hands, no matter where you start your feet. Any hitting coach or any great hitter will tell you the timing of your foot getting down to where your hands are is going to be the key to hitting.
We talked about Otani last night. He had the huge leg kick when he got to the United States and got exposed with that big leg kick in his first spring training, and so ditched it right before opening day of his rookie year, or at least made it much smaller.
Personally, for me as a pitcher, when I was on the mound and saw a big leg kick, or I saw the hitter have that leg kick, it always drove me crazy.
Sorprende a las empresas con un currículum profesional de cvwizard.es y resalta entre los demás. Crea tu CV en 3 simples pasos. Llena tus datos, elige una plantilla profesional y luego descárgalo. Pruébalo ahora.
That leg kick, and that's his timing mechanism. Sometimes it stays up longer, sometimes it gets down faster.
Jason Adam looking for 1, 2, 3, 6. Down goes full on Yamada. For the U.S. in the 7th. 9-1 and 2 coming up. That's Anderson, Betts, and Trout. And it looks like it's going to be against Yu Darvish. Better resume, but finally somebody they're somewhat familiar with. Here comes a 3-2. And a 2-out walk. One game in the 6th inning. Here's the 8-hitter, Sosuke Genda. There goes the runner from first. Throw down from Realmuto, not in time, and a great jump and a stolen base for Yamada. 4 seasons in Japan of at least 30 stolen bases. And Japan leading the World Baseball Classic in stolen bases shows off some of the speed here.
And this is what I was talking about with a lot of relievers that come in the game. You see how long it took for Adam to deliver that ball to home plate. He steals it on the pitcher, and that's where most of the stolen bases are going to come from. They're not going to really come from the catcher because a lot of catchers have good arms. So that was probably well over 1.5. That you got to be 1.5 or below really to give the catcher a chance. And that was a high leg kick and an easy stolen base.
And some insurance in scoring position for Japan here. 1-0 on Genda. Two and 0. Out off 2-1. You know, Jason Adam, first few seasons of his big league career, he had an ERA up around 4.5. And he goes to the Tampa Bay Rays, and last year, out of the middle of nowhere, turns into one of the top relievers in the league. He had a 1.56, which is one of the lowest ERAs in franchise history. His 2-1 pitch, way outside, ball 3. So around this time last year, Jason Adam probably felt like pitching for Team USA was never going to be a possibility. 4.71 ERA at that point. The native of Omaha, Nebraska, having his breakout season at the right time to make this WBC team. And it's 2 gone and a 3-1 pitch. Genda takes ball 4. That's back-to-back 2-out walks.
Well, Otani's going to have to come back, and just as I say that, he is coming back because you don't know how long this inning will last, but he's going to bat next inning regardless. And it does line up perfectly if he bats in the 7th inning to then go down back to the bullpen and prepare for either the 8th or the 9th.
So then you start looking ahead and saying, could it line up for not just Otani, but him to face Trout in the 9th inning? Nakamura out of the 9 spot. Bends down, and Adams lost command here. And to answer that question that I just threw out there, they'd need a little bit of traction over the next couple innings to get Trout there again. In the 9th. Trout to be due up 3rd in the 7th. 2 on, 2 out. Japan trying to add on to this 3-1 lead. There's a strike. Loaded it at 79 to the corner. Darvish ready to go. Veteran leader of this Japan team. A lot of the young pitchers we've had the pleasure of seeing for Team Japan have talked about remembering watching Darvish pitch in 2009 as kids, elementary school kids at that point. It's got to make you feel old. Not you, him. I'd never do that to you. Give me that look. 2-1 from Jason Adam. Ball 3. Adam hadn't walked anybody in his first 3 games. Back-to-back walks here. 9 of his last 11 pitches have been balls. There is nobody warming in the Team USA bullpen, and if you're Mark DeRosa, it's tough, and this has kind of been an issue all WBC long, is if you get somebody up, they've pretty much got to come in. A wild pitch to load the bases. You hope you have 3 innings left to cover, and you've got your 3 guys to cover those innings. So if you're going to bring somebody in to plug it here, you're probably going to need them to go multiple innings, which is probably not in play at this stage of the calendar. So he sticks with Adam, and still no stirring in the pen.
Yeah, Andy's going to have to remind him of staying back a little bit because he is spiking that slider, and that's that signature pitch. So now there's nowhere to go with the bases loaded. He's walked 3 in a row after striking out the first 2. That's a rare thing to do if you think about it, and that's how quick the game can change for a pitcher if he starts losing the command of his signature pitch.
Yeah, Kendall Graveman warms, and Jason Adam last year for the Tampa Bay Rays, he made 67 appearances. Only once did he throw more pitches than this, and it was only 26. So with his next pitch, he's going to match his high from the regular season last year.
Well, Nootbaar has been really aggressive so far, it seems like, in this tournament. But after seeing a bunch of pitches not hit the strike zone, I wonder what his approach will be here with 2 strikes or 2 outs and the bases loaded.
Jason Adams struck out the first 2 hitters and then walked 7, 8, and 9. Now with the bases loaded.
All we had to do was talk about it, and Opus Clip does the rest, and then you just schedule it from right here.
Wow, I pay $30 every month just for a scheduler.
Well, right now Opus Clip is just $14.50, the Pro plan.
He's become a Japanese sensation in his 2 weeks with the team. He's become a Japanese sensation in his 2 weeks with the team. He said he had a pretty good idea he was in for something special when he landed in Japan, and there was a video crew waiting for him and fans at the airport, and it was 5:30 in the morning. But oh baby, this is going to be some kind of experience. The 1-1 to him. Through the back door, strike 2. Adam trying to get out of it, maybe inject a little bit of life into Team USA. Down 3-1 in the 6th inning of the championship. Foul. Two and two.
Well, this will be his last hitter. I don't think Mark can let him go much more than the 30 pitches that he's got right here. 2-2 pitches, the action pitch with the bases loaded. You want to throw whatever you think is your best pitch right now to make action happen one way or another. And obviously you want it to be good if you're Adam.
Bases loaded, 2 gone, 2-2 pitch. Fly ball right center field. No big deal. Mookie Betts. Jason Adam out of his own jam. Taisei Ota says, sit down, you Darvish. I'm going into the game. And he's been in every game in the knockout stage. A scoreless inning in the quarterfinal. Got the win in the semifinal last night. Here he is to face 9-1-2.
Another fastball split guy and a fastball velocity anywhere between 94 and 97. So every move has worked so far. We've anticipated other moves to be made that haven't been made, but Team Japan holding a 3-1 lead. And if you're scripting a game, this is what you were hoping. You could shut down this great offense for Team USA.
Jeff McNeil is going to pinch hit here for Tim Anderson. with the right-hander on the mound, and to the top in Betts and Trout. Just feels like the United States in desperate need of some kind of jolt, running out of time. They have just 2 hits since they got their run in the second inning. McNeil's playing time in this WBC has been hard to come by. He started the first game, but then Tim Anderson did what he did at shortstop, and in order to get his bat back in the lineup. And with McNeil struggling in the first game, DeRosa put Anderson at second, and McNeil's just been coming off of the bench since.
Yeah, and they ran into a lot of left-handed starters, too, that got the continuity of their lineup kind of out of whack. And that's the problem with the WBC. You just kind of randomness of who you face and when you face and who gets hot and when they get hot.
On 2-0, McNeil takes ball 3. Very quickly, the U.S. could get Betts to the plate as the tying run.
I think, and I shouldn't say I think before I make a statement, I think it's 11 balls in a row to McNeil in his last 3 at-bats.
Why stop there? Make it 12, big guy.
It's 12.
It's a leadoff walk in front of the top of the order.
Oh, I was incorrect. He had a third at bat, but he has 3 walks in his last 4.
Yeah.
And in his walks,
no strikes.
They haven't thrown a strike.
Let's just go with it. You got to stick with it at this point. We've
just go with
far. Back to the top in Betts. So the leadoff walk from Jeff McNeil, and it's Mookie Betts who had an infield single in the 5th that at the moment felt like it might be that jolt they've been looking for. But he was stranded at second. Before Darvish and Otani come into the game, can they get to Ota? A strike over the inside corner. Mookie Betts has won 2 World Series, 2018 with the Red Sox, 2020 with the Dodgers. He says this experience, the best that he's had in baseball. On an 0-1 pitch, swings and misses, and it's 0-2. 95-mile-per-hour fastball, disappearing slider, or disappearing splitter.
Now the difference with this style of pitching is the lower 3/4 delivery, so it's a total different release point and total different action, even though it's the same 2 pitches, fastball split, but you've got a different angle to look at.
Way high. Line drive, base hit left field. Betts with a bullet by Genda. 2 on, nobody out. Mike Trout coming up.
Now Betts did such a great job on that low pitch to stay with it. It's a splitter, and it just almost knuckles down, and he stays with it. And he gets it right outside the outstretched hands of the great shortstop.
Johnny, this tournament is the gift that just keeps on giving. Because once again, in a key spot, the man finds himself up.
When Mike Trout's been right, he stays center to right center with his approach. When he's missed the pitches and struck out, he's really been over-rotating, trying to lift the ball, see if he can stay on plane with this style of pitching, get one in the gap, and see the USA team run around the bases.
The captain at the plate, and he gets hit. Or did it hit the bat? I guess it hit the bat, and it's strike 1.
Wow. Pretty unfortunate there. That ball probably catches the knob. And it does. You know, the odds of that are not really good.
You've got to be standing there as a hitter saying, really? I'm down 0-1 after that? Russell doubled in the first inning, couple strikeouts since. There have been way more strikeouts the last couple games than you normally get from him. Swats one to right off the end of the bat. Kondo comes on, makes a running catch to retire Trout for the first out of the 7th.
Didn't know if it was going to be a borderline deke here, but he did get to the ball in time.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's he waiting for? And he made the break. Made the catch. The United States has had its opportunities in this game, but hitless in 6 at-bats with men in scoring position.
Yeah, and this has been the first real big threat. First and second, nobody out. Now you got first and second, one out. Got to try to get it going.
Goldschmidt's out in front. First pitch splitter. From one MVP to another. Paul Goldschmidt, 35-year-old of the St. Louis Cardinals. Otani looms. Tying run aboard. Go ahead run at the plate. Goldschmidt chases. And it's 0-2.
Nuestro tour. Nos vamos de viaje, mi gente.
Ground ball to short. Genda to second one. Yamada to first. Double play. 3 and 4 for Japan. It's Kondo, Otani, and Yoshida. Comes at him with a fastball up and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Bednar was with the San Diego Padres. Got traded to the Pirates in a deal that's worked out for both sides. And that Joe Musgrove went to the Padres. And David Bednar's turned into one of the best back-end guys in the league. 1 ball, 1 strike. Although the Pirates probably wouldn't mind having Joe Musgrove and what he's turned into. Jeff McNeil stays in after pinch hitting for Tim Anderson. Bednar really tough on left-handers typically. So he comes in here to the part of the lineup that is stacked with him. Lefty's only hitting 188, or only hit 188 against Bednar in 2022.
Right-handed pitcher, that's strong.
Here's his 1-2. Fouled off.
Well, last inning was kind of a huge inning for Japan, and the emotion of that game, that inning could have well been the game because the U.S. had first and second, nobody out, and they didn't advance a base and didn't score a run. So it looks like Darvish is going to come in the next inning.
Little pop fly left side of the infield. Lone man over there is Arenado, and he's got it. They're going to bring up Otani.
And what this does for Team Japan is it surely can put Otani in the 9th inning now. It's the perfect spot if he's going to warm up, having batted here. The time will tell.
And he could pretty much go have his normal starter's warm-up. And you wouldn't want, the Angels certainly wouldn't want anything rushed. That's ball 1. At the plate tonight, he's 0 for 2. Does have a walk, his 10th one of the tournament. It's only impossible until somebody does it. And he keeps turning these impossible things into possible.
He does, and we're going to look back at other sports and other people who have transcended the sport, right? Changed it in a way that if it weren't for that person, XYZ wouldn't happen. And I just think it gives hope to the thought that in Major League Baseball was never really thought of a two-way player. And don't know that we'll ever get a two-way player like this again, so he set the bar so high. But it'll give hope maybe in college or maybe in high school or maybe, you know, just see that play out a little bit farther than what it has until he came here.
On a 2-1 pitch, Otani drives the ball foul. One of the reasons this WBC is so special for him is he's playing for the guy who hatched the idea, Hideki Kuriyama. First time they got together to discuss it, Kuriyama gave him a t-shirt. It was a black t-shirt that they designed specially for this meeting, and it had an image of birds in flight. And it said on it, "Dreams come true." He said to him, "Travel down a path nobody else has. Spread your wings," was the point of the shirt. And Otani, who was planning to go to the United States, was planning to go make the unprecedented move to go straight to the majors out of high school. He was convinced. He said, "All right, let's try this impossible plan. Let's become one of one." Sharp ground ball. Diving stop, Trey Turner. And a dig from Paul Goldschmidt, but lightning speed from Otani.
It's amazing. It just is amazing. I mean, this ball was hit so hard. They have nothing to lose to challenge this, but this ball was hit so hard, and he's flying down the line. It's going to be really close, and the angle's going to tell right here whether or not he got his foot down as the ball is in there. Ooh, it's going to be close. The call on the field at this point might stand, but Otani flying.
We mentioned it last night, John. I mean, he throws the ball as hard as Garrett Cole. He hits the ball as hard as Aaron Judge. He runs as fast as the guy that couldn't get him there, Trey Turner. He's a transformer. He's a superhero. Oh, no, man. It is bang, bang. The call on the field is safe. Might be hard to overturn it.
He's got gears. He's got power.
He's got it all.
Ken Rosenthal, you've got an up-close view of his greatness.
Ken Rosenthal, you've got an up-close view of his greatness.
Well, guys, what strikes me about Otani is that there was so much skepticism about whether he could do this.
And the call does stand, Kenny.
And yet, for the past 2 seasons, he's done it. And now the question is, well, how much longer can he do it? And I don't know that anyone can put any limits on this guy. And John and I talked earlier in his career about whether he would be better if he just pitched. And John said this, he would be Jacob deGrom. But Jeremy Reed, the Angels' former hitting coach, told me, hey, this guy thrives off doing both. If he just did one, he wouldn't feel whole.
Sasaki Yoshida. And as teams get ready to bid on him as he becomes a free agent this winter, you're really bidding on 2 superstar players in one.
You are. And it's interesting to see how that evolves. Kenny makes a great point, and to the personality and athleticism, he wants to do it both for a long time. But there comes a point, and like everybody, where how long can that be? To take the energy and physique and the physical demanding of that role, even though he primarily DHs.
Wow. Trying to hit that ball a mile. 1-1. How about this swing? Gotten it loose. Bednar's 1-1 pitch is fouled back with another big swing.
All the talk for so long of what are the Angels going to do? They could change their franchise trading him, but they've kept him to this point in looming free agency. You think about what he could get in a dream world in a trade.
Oh, man.
because you would have to.
Instagram now lets you send automated DMs to new followers instantly. Now, most people are going to use this to just blast links to their products, but I'll be doing something much smarter for myself and our clients. Step 1, we send a genuine thank you message first. Then we ask which of 3 topics this person is most interested in. These can be the top 3 things that people tend to DM you about. When someone picks one, they're going to get an automatic DM that's going to contain a link to a reel about that specific topic. And that reel includes a call to action to comment. Once they comment, they're going to enter one of your other DM automations naturally. So in just minutes, you can turn followers into buyers by being helpful instead of pushy. If you want to learn more about follow to DM, just click the link below.
On Yoshida. 2 muscles one up the middle, should be 2. Arenado feeds Turner onto first, double play. Well, they have pieced it together to get it to this point where finally the familiar name comes in. Yu Darvish for the 8th inning, and we go to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, a lot of people wondered why Yu Darvish didn't start this game, and maybe you were wondering why he wasn't in the last inning. Well, one reason perhaps could be that his success rate against the top of this lineup isn't very good. Now, he's going to face Arenado. He's got good numbers against him, but so did Trout and so did Goldschmidt. Hideki Kuriyama perhaps managed this brilliantly. He kept Darvish away from that part. He gets him for the 8th and possibly Otani for the 9th.
Kenny, and I mean, he used 5 pitchers to get it to this point. And managers like to script these things. It doesn't often go to script, but I don't know that this could have gone any better for them.
No, it's magical, really. I mean, this lineup's a tough lineup to navigate, and especially if you get 2 looks at a pitcher from this lineup, and they didn't get much of that. So here we go. 2 innings for the USA to flex their muscles if they have any left offensively.
Well, if they're going to be remembered as what they were called coming into this tournament, the dream team, they've got a chance to make one last case that that's what they are here. Against 2 of the game's best, Darvish and Otani. Nolan Arenado. It's a fly ball to left center field that's playable for Lars Nootbaar. There's the big one for Darvish, guy that had tormented him in Arenado. Now, Schwarber, who comes up now, he didn't have as many at-bats against Darvish, but those that he's had, great success. 4 out of 12 with a pair of home runs, including one in the championship series last year.
Well, for Yu Darvish, who's going to be a star, obviously, and has been for the San Diego Padres and a starter, spins the baseball about as good as anybody. He's got variety of spins. That's a slider there. He's got a big curveball, slow curveball. He does have a split. He's got fastball, and he's got that command back. When he got in trouble, it was the command issues.
There was a time in his career where he would nibble, right? He was around the zone. But last year, he was in the strike zone more than any pitcher in baseball. His 1-1 pitch to Schwarber. This is away, ball 2. He's 36 years of age. Started his career with 7 years in Japan. Came to the majors in 2012. This will be his 11th year in the big leagues. One of 2 guys to have 1,000 strikeouts in both countries. Yu Darvish, Hideo Nomo. Schwarber fouls it back, and it's 2-2. And they've known about Yu Darvish since he was dominant in high school. The big high school tournament in Japan, he threw a no-hitter. The rest of the world found out about Yu Darvish in this tournament, the 2009 WBC. Pitched in 5 games in that championship run for Japan, including the final 2 innings of the championship against Korea. His 2-2 is rifled foul. At the time, he was the young kid who was getting discovered by everybody. Now he's the 36-year-old veteran leader of this roster that's taken all the young guys that were watching him as elementary kids when he was doing his thing in 2009, taking all them under his wing. Another 2-2 to Kyle Schwarber. Another foul ball.
He went through that period where not every pitcher goes through it, but it's a nightmare when you're tipping. And you're tipping pitches, and it was a rough go there for the playoffs for a little while, especially for the Dodgers. And then, fixing that and getting back mechanically sound to as you mentioned, throwing more strikes has just made him really hard to hit when he's in the strike zone and spinning the baseball.
Otani looks to be ready as Schwarber fouls another. That's 3 straight foul balls by Kyle Schwarber. Trey Turner on deck. Darvish shaken through a number of those 11 or 12 distinct offerings. On the 8th pitch, Schwarber pulls one down the line. Foul again. There's been some hard contact. Good, all pulled foul. Is that loud contact strike any fear into you as a pitcher? You feel good about how far he's pulling it.
Yeah, I mean, to get it inside, that's all he can do. You make it leak over the plate, and then you're not getting it back. So, see if he spins one right here. Tries to get him to chase down.
Another 2-2. Fly ball, another foul ball. Next pitch will be the 10th.
And he spun it, but he left it up. So when you leave it up, it gives the hitter enough time to adjust from it.
Back, continuing tension rising. You can feel it inside here in Miami. Into double digits in this at-bat. The 10th pitch. Fly to right field. Kondo turns. There it goes. Straighten it out. Second deck. 1-run game.
Well, that's why Mark DeRosa wanted him in the lineup for that effect right there. That was an incredible at-bat. I mean, epic at-bat. And every pitch that he missed in, he pulled foul. When he missed over the plate, he left it into the upper deck. And a huge bolt of motion for Team USA down 1.
And now Trey Turner at the plate. He hit his 5th home run of the WBC back in the 2nd inning. One Philly to another. 1-1.
Oh, he threw the splitter that time, and that splitter just stayed right over the middle of the plate. It acted as almost a BP fastball. And wow, jeez, did that get out in a hurry.
Said he's been hitting home runs in big games his whole baseball life. He's got another. On a 1-1 pitch, Turner fouls it straight back, and it's 1-2.
I mean, that's like 4.8 seconds out of the stadium.
There's a lot less than that. Bang, bang. Mark DeRosa fired up. Everybody fired up. 1-2 pitch to Trey Turner. Reaches out, pokes one into center. It's down. Turner holds on with a single. Tying run aboard in the 8th inning.
That's huge because Turner's got a ton of speed. And he can utilize that speed to steal a base. Getting scoring position. Breaking ball. Breaking ball, hands just a little bit. Not an awful pitch, but you can see he gets enough of it just to the end of the bat. And familiarity with Darvish. Not saying that that's everything, but up until this point, they didn't have a lot of familiar. You say it.
Yeah, familiarity.
Yeah.
Yes. Shohei Otani continues to get ready. Mound visit with Darvish, and now JT Realmuto comes up. And yeah, you talk about the familiarity. You got Trey Turner, who's been in the division with you, Darvish, for the last year plus, and seen him well. Now JT Realmuto, and he's got the speed of Trey Turner representing the tying run. Do you send him at some point here?
I tell you, you leave it. You're giving him the green light. If he gets a good jump, yes, go.
More steals than anybody the last 4 seasons. Realmuto pops it up. Genda. 2 away.
Well, we got our matchup.
Otani against Trout.
Yeah.
It is heading that direction.
It's guaranteed. If he pitches.
And if they don't get it to Trout here. Don't
they
guarantee it yet.
If they don't throw out.
Don't go that far out on the limb. I don't want to pull you back in. Tying run at first. 2 gone in the 8th. Cedric Mullins. Surprise start here in the championship game. Darvish throws, and Mullins slices a fly ball to center field. Newpar has it and ends the inning. Devin Williams on for the bottom of the 8th inning. He's been fantastic. Really, the 8th and the 9th inning have been locked down for the United States between Williams and Presley. Murakami, 5, 6, and 7 for Japan, and strike 1. Williams trying to keep it a 1-run game with 9-1 and 2 due up for the U.S. That's McNeil, Betts, and Trout against Otani. We think.
You think.
A 1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. It's that air-bending changeup of the Brewers' Devin Williams.
Just never gets there. The old screwball rotation works away from a left-hander.
3 pitches. Good morning and good afternoon and good night. Devin Williams, a strikeout of Murakami. Kazuma Okamoto, one of the 4 solo home runs in this game. He takes ball 1. A 3-2 tense one. Bottom of the 8th inning. That one misses low, 2-0. Otani continues to get himself ready for the 9th inning. Mark DeRosa, pins and needles. Told us before the game today he hasn't wanted something this bad in a long, long time. Just back to the must-win games he played in during his 16-year career. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. He said he wants it for his players, most of all. But he wants it for another reason, too. He said his first experience as a manager has made him think about the impact that his dad had on him, coaching all his teams growing up. Here's a 2-1 pitch, and it's foul, 2-2. And Mark's dad passed away in 2012, and he wants this as a way to honor his dad, too. And when USA was losing on Saturday night against Venezuela, he said he sent a prayer up to his dad and said, "Come on, Pops, we can't go out like this." And bam! Grand slam, Trey Turner. Prayer answered. You're going to send in other prayers. This game moves along to the 9th. Okamoto on 2-2 takes ball 3.
Well, the USA's had their chances offensively, and it's really been 2 solo home runs for their only 2 runs. Runners on base quite often. Didn't get that hit, haven't gotten that hit yet. They have 1 inning to do it.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back Ks for Devin Williams and 2 gone in the 8th. And this is how we got here. Out of the 5 runs in the game, 4 of them scoring on solo home runs. The USA was Trey Turner in the second. You saw Schwarber's in the top of this inning. For Japan, one pitch into the bottom of the second after Turner hit his in the top. Murakami hit one. Yeah, that tied it at 1. They took the lead soon after that. Okamoto had a solo shot of his own in the fourth. 2 away for Yamada. Ball 1.
99 to 100 miles an hour waiting in that pen for Otani. Devastating slider and a good split.
And Anderson, Betts, and Trout waiting for him.
And a heartbeat that seems to be calm in everything he does, but you've got to believe his heartbeat is racing when he gets on this field.
2-0.
Not saying this would be full circle for Shohei Otani because he's done enough things to run circles around the game. But think about it. This is where his dream, as you talked about with his manager, started. He's been a star in Major League Baseball, and he's trying to bring home a WBC title for the team he started with and now rejoined.
2-1. What a joyride this tournament has been. From Arozarena's theatrics to Otani's greatness, to the benches clearing celebrations and the amazing stadium-shaking crowds. It's only fitting that it's going to come down to the 9th inning in this dream matchup with a dream matchup within it. Two from Devin Williams. Shot down the line, foul. That's a 2-out walk. And the inning kept alive here. Got to watch out for Yamada's.
Pinturas Tropical Plus Ambient. Pintura sin olor y de cero VOC.
Sosuke Genda to the plate in a 3-2 game.
Well, both these teams started a little bit differently. Of course, Japan had to start early based on where they played and the travel that they were going to have to get here. U.S., of course, stayed in U.S., started in Phoenix, ended in Miami. So different journeys, different paths, but a championship game that has come down to one run right now, as it stands, into the 9th. I think both teams would kind of sign up for that, right?
Yeah.
With a chance.
There he goes from first. Picked by Real Muto. Perfect throw, but he beat it. Baseball beauty on that play.
Wow, he got such a big jump, but this throw was right on the money. I mean, a huge jump. He made this play look really close. He short hops a changeup.
Unreal.
And I'm telling you right now, it's just unreal how close he made that play. Got his foot to the bag just before the tag.
One-time All-State quarterback in Oklahoma. Goes off that cannon. Best throwing arm in the National League.
Well, huge at bat. I mean, you can't afford to go down 2. It's going to be tough just to get the 1 against Otani. So a big at bat here for Devin Williams.
Passive insurance standing out there in the form of Yamada. Sosuke Genda swings and misses way out in front, and it's 1-2. Good stop by Realmuto. 2-2. We said of the different journeys, the different locations where they started the tournaments, different styles of play. The same beautiful baseball excellence from both these world powers. A 2-2 from Devin Williams. Put in the ground to third to Arenado. Just in time at first. So here we go. The dream scenario, the dream matchup, and within that dream matchup, the dream scenario. Shohei Otani on for the 9th inning. 9-1-2 coming up for the United States in a 1-run game. That's Jeff McNeil, Mookie Betts, and Mike Trout.
Yep, here we go. This ride has taken us all the way to here, and oh man, fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be electric, and you're talking about electric stuff out of Otani. Fastball downhill, reaching 100 miles an hour, tremendous breaking ball, slider, and the split. So not a lot to go from. Only Mookie Betts really has faced him that we can tell. And that 1-for-1 with a walk and a homer.
Well, Shohei has been called the modern-day Babe Ruth. There are a couple of defensive changes to note. Nootbaar slid over to left. Taisei Makihara is into the game in center. But calling him the modern-day Babe Ruth, keep in mind, Babe was only a true two-way player for 2 full seasons.
Right.
Shohei Otani's already done it for 3. So in terms of longevity, Shohei's already passed Babe Ruth. He's running a one-man dual marathon in the major leagues that nobody's even attempted to run in a century.
Well, here's what I'm going to be interested, just knowing what I know about Otani, is will he have his command or will he be too amped up? He hasn't done this in the big leagues. He's done this in the past in a save in Japan, but he's a starter for the Angels. So can he control the RPMs, the revved up 1-inning approach, knowing 3 outs, they're a champion?
And he told us before the game he's done this 1 time, pitching in relief. 2016 to get his team into the Japan series. He DH'd and he came out of the bullpen to close it down. He tries to close down the World Baseball Classic for Japan as Jeff McNeil leads off the 9th inning for USA. Yanks the first pitch down the line, foul. McNeil came on to pinch hit for Tim Anderson in the 7th and walked on 4 pitches. Got a strike and he was ready for it.
Nasty slider, first pitch slider.
One and one.
That's going to be the pitch that I'm talking about. The other pitches don't require as much effort. You could throw your slider, but it's that fastball and letting it eat, letting it go. And first one was in the dirt. The warm-ups, he was kind of all over the place with his fastball, but his slider, probably the pitch that has the best feel for at least not overthrowing it.
On a 1-1 pitch, McNeil watches ball 2 as the fastball takes off on him. And this is high.
When you start a game, you're not in that RPM mode. You're just not. you're ready for the journey of 5-6 innings, whatever it is. When you come into the ninth, you're in the RPM mode. You have to learn how and know how to slow that heart rate down, but still have execution on your pitches.
On a 2-1 pitch, McNeil looks at ball 3.
Just about everybody in the lower bowl is standing. No one is sitting, and why would they? I'm standing.
3-1 pitch. Fouled off, and the count goes full. From start to the very finish, to the ninth inning of the championship. The most captivating classic you could ever have hoped for. Japan 3, United States 2. Shohei Otani for the ninth inning. McNeil down the line, foul.
McNeil's a special hitter. He keeps his hands back. He hunts the baseball. He's not trying to just lift. And he hits this 3-2 slider and gets just a little bit out front. You can see him try to hook it right there. He has to protect against the fastball. You always say, hitters will tell you, prepare for the fastball, adjust otherwise. It's hard to do the other. Look for a slider and adjust the fastball. It doesn't work.
Jeff McNeil, the batting champion in the National League last year, leading off the ninth inning against Shohei Otani, who fires another 3-2. That's ball 4 to start the ninth.
Wow, what a take. I mean, that one just...
Ibero Security, 20 años. Tu confianza nos hizo crecer.
Below, and Otani wanted it. But McNeil was able to take it, now pinch running the legs of Bobby Witt Jr.
Can those come into play the same way the legs of Ukyo Shuto came into play in the ninth inning of the semifinal for Japan last night as he scored the winning run on Murakami's double. Tying run aboard, Witt pinch running, Mookie Betts at the plate. A fastball to the corner for a strike. 2 meetings with Otani. We mentioned it. He's walked and he's homered. Bouncing ball to second. Yamada to short. Over to first, 2. A double play has Japan 1 out away.
Tailor-made. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better setup for 2 guys that can run. And now, theater.
Impossible theater. The regal excellence of Japan, the overwhelming talent of the United States. And in a 1-run game with 2 gone in the ninth inning, the dream matchup. Otani, Trout. 1 ball, no strikes.
Both are going back to the same team. One's coming back with a trophy.
As Benji Gill said last night, baseball's already won. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. A fastball at 100. A nod from Trout. A 1-1 count. Ball 2, just outside.
cut his fastball just off the plate at 100.
Trout hardly budged. These are two of the greatest baseball players to ever live. Stars aligning for the dream matchup for the ages here in the ninth. 2-1. 2-2. Now what?
I mean, it'd be hard-pressed for me to not throw another fastball right there. And I know it's Mike Trout, but that fastball's getting on him.
Otani's 2-2 pitch. The count goes full. Mikey at bat. Otani's ready. Trout's ready. 3-2. He struck him out! Otani strikes out Trout, and Japan's back on top of the baseball world.
Broke out his best slider.
It is the dream matchup. The winner of the first two World Baseball Classics, Japan, and the defending champ, the United States. Baseball stars perfectly aligned. And they played two of the best games in WBC history just to get here. For the United States in the quarterfinal against Venezuela. For Japan last night against quarterfinal against